I'm Jo, and thank you so much for joining me on my very first YouTube video. Firstly, I want to give you a little bit of information, background info about me, who I am and what I'm doing here, and going forward what I'm planning to do. So I'll take you back to 2023 when I was lucky enough to receive a kidney transplant in January of that year. Changed my life incredibly. It truly has. I started work with creative expressions as I recovered. I was working with different mediums to create different projects for them to support the launch of their new product ranges. Really enjoyed working with all the different mediums and the colours, and I thoroughly enjoyed the process. When this came to an end, I wanted to stay within that field but focus more towards textiles, things that weren't quite as messy. So I literally dug out my sewing machine from the bottom of the wardrobe under everything, pulled it out, popped on some YouTube videos and learned the very basics of how to thread up your machine, how to understand patterns, how to use the stitches to your advantage on the machine, and also about different fabrics and what you use them for, because this was totally new to me. It really was. So the first things I made was some little like bookmarks, some little glass cases, and I made some little soft toys. I found some patterns online that I really liked and I could understand and I could work with. So I used some Studio 7 patterns to make some little animal friends. So this is Margot today. When I first started with the animals, I'd use some calico, some fairly cheap fabric, or some old pillowcases, and then I'd stuff them and make some little clothes for them. I found out that if you want to make any soft toys to sell, you have to make sure they reach a certain standard, and it's called the UKCA certification. So I had a lot of work to do. There was an awful lot involved, looking at the fabrics, looking at their chemical properties to ensure that they're safe and compliant. Certain fabrics weren't able to be used because of their flammability risk and the results from the tension testing. So I decided to investigate and find the best fabric I could and that I could afford. Hence, I'm using Tilda. I use Tilda in all of my animals today for Cotton and Fluff. Now this is Margot, and she's created purely from Tilda, making all their outfits as well. This one I've actually embroidered on her little neckerchief here as well to make her look a little bit different. So that's Margot, and we've also got Brianna over here, and she's got her dungarees on today. So Brianna was the very first doll toy I made, and I embroidered their faces, and I find that as I'm creating an animal and popping on their faces, embroidering them, their personalities develop. They really do, and I just think they're just so cute. So that's Brianna, and they have got lots of other friends who will be along soon, but I have a lot of testing to do on those still. Alongside the animals, I've been making some little clothes as well. So things like dungarees and some little jersey tops underneath, more dungarees, another dress, little dress here. I velcro them all as well so that they can be taken on and off to change their look. Also I make little backpacks as well for them, so they got a little strap, and try and coordinate it with whatever they're wearing that day. So that's the animals. I really enjoyed doing the animals, and I love doing their clothes. And I was sat here the other day looking at all their clothes, and I thought, gosh, wouldn't it be amazing to be able to make something like this but big enough for a child or for an adult? I didn't have a clue about dressmaking, and I still don't, and I am still learning. I've watched lots of videos, lots and lots and lots, and a lot of them are incredible. Looking at all these designers, looking at all these brilliant sewists online and on who have YouTube channels, looking at what they make, it's just amazing, and it blows me away. It still blows me away when they've got the pattern. They say, I'm going to make it in this pattern. I'd love to be able to do that. I've bought a few patterns and I've looked at them, but I really don't know whether they are beginner. I've tried and failed. I've learnt lots of do's and don'ts, a lot of don'ts. I've learnt about different fabrics you should use for different pieces of clothing. But this is all at a beginner level to me, and there is so much to learn. So I thought it would be fun for me as well, because I'd like to document my journey of dressmaking, starting from now really, with beginner patterns, going right the way through to, well, I hope going right the way through. I say that, I'm not sure whether it's going to happen or not. So a lot of patterns, it will tell you what level, so whether it's beginner or intermediate or to an advanced sewist. So I looked at the beginner patterns and I thought, I wonder if they really are beginner. I've pulled a few out that I've used and I've had some fairly good results with them. So I thought what I'll do is maybe go through a pattern and we work on it together, or I can do the pattern and you can watch, and then we can see whether it really is a beginner level, like me, an absolute beginner level, or not. So, and I just thought it would be fun to try, and we can review patterns and I can tell you what I think. But also, I think, as I say, the sewing community is so friendly, so welcoming, and I'm sure that we could reach out to other sewists for their help of how to tackle various items on a garment, whether that be sewing in some elastic, hemming it straight, how to do darts. These are all things down the line that I need to learn, that I don't know how to do, but I would love to learn. You may be sat there thinking, what is this lady on about? You may know the answers. So if ever you're watching one of my videos and you think there's a way that I could be doing something differently to get a better result or to get the right result, please pop it in the comments. It would be great to be able to pass it on to other people that are watching the video. They can read the comments and they can see what you suggest, and then maybe the following time I do a video we can bring that in as well. I just think it would be fun, informative, and also to help us both understand levels of proficiency in sewing, so that we can make something that is a beginner level but we can make it look more of an advanced level. But things are all going to happen down the line, as I say, and I'd love you to join me on my sewing journey. So it will be from myself, from my animals, Margot and Brianna. Also, oh, I forgot to say, this is mean, isn't it? Leaving it to the last minute. I'm also joined by my doggy friends who are fast asleep, because I have tried to redo this video so many times. I think they're fed up and they're bored, they've gone to sleep. Maddie, Cherry, and I have Missy and Margot. We have 4 little dogs who live with us, and they like to join me when I'm outside doing my sewing. I've got a little room because I started off working within the house in a little spare room, and I quickly outgrew that with all my stuff from Creative Expressions and all my paints and mediums. And then when I started looking at fabrics and sewing, I've quickly outgrown that space. So I am so lucky to have my very own sewing studio or shed in the garden that gives me the space to cut out fabric. I can have my machines out here, and it's just a nice sewing area that I can leave. I haven't got to put away at night on the table so that we can have a meal. It can just be left till the next day. But I'm going to do a little bit of a tour around my room as well, There is so much I want to tell you about, and there's so much that I think we could all benefit from together, but that's down the line, and I'm jumping ahead now. And I've redone this video so many times, so do you know what, I'm sure this will be fine. Thank you, and I'm sorry that it's so amateurish. This is my first attempt. As I say, unfortunately I didn't pick a sunny day. It's a bit gloomy today, so hence why I think it's so dark. But once again, thank you so much. Thank you for sticking towards the end. That's great. If you could subscribe, that would be amazing. And yeah, so I hopefully will be seeing you all again soon, fingers crossed. And once again, thank you.